The rain hammered against the windows of the old Victorian house, like restless fingers tapping in the dark. Detective Elena Voss stood in the dimly lit hallway. Water dripped from her coat onto the polished oak floor. The call had come at 11:47 p.m. Reginald Hawthorne, a 68-year-old wealthy collector of rare books, was found dead in his private library. There were no signs of forced entry. The front door was locked from the inside. Elena's flashlight swept slowly across the room. Hawthorne sat slumped in his leather armchair. An antique book was still open on his lap. A single bullet hole marked the center of his forehead. The gun lay on the floor beside his right hand. It looked like suicide. The position was perfect, but something felt wrong. The housekeeper, Mrs. Clara Mills, stood trembling by the doorway. "He was alone all evening," she whispered. "I served him tea at 9, then went to my room. I heard nothing until the shot." Elena knelt beside the body. There were no powder burns on his hand. Strange for a close-range shot. She picked up the gun carefully. It was a vintage Webley revolver, registered to Hawthorne. She opened the book on his lap. It was a first edition of The Hound of the Baskervilles. A small folded note slipped out. In Hawthorne's shaky handwriting, it read, "I know what you did in 1987. It ends tonight." Elena's eyes narrowed. Blackmail. She turned to the housekeeper. "Mrs. Mills, where exactly were you when you heard the shot?" "Upstairs in my room. I came down as fast as I could. 4 minutes, according to the security log. That's not very fast." Mrs. Mills hesitated. "I was scared." Elena walked behind the desk to the tall window. It was locked from the inside, but the latch had fresh scratches. She pulled back the heavy velvet curtain. A thin, almost invisible wire ran from the curtain rod down to the floor. She followed the wire. It led to a small mechanical device hidden behind a row of books. A simple timer and spring mechanism connected to the trigger. A cold smile touched Elena's lips. She faced Mrs. Mills calmly. "You were clever, but not clever enough." The housekeeper's face turned deathly pale. "You killed him earlier this evening, right after serving the tea around 9:30. You used a pillow to silence the shot. You arranged the body. You placed the gun in his hand and left the note. Then you built this little device to fire the gun at exactly 11:47, so it would seem like the shot happened while you were safely upstairs." Mrs. Mills took a shaky step back. "That's impossible." "Not impossible, just clever clockwork. You learned it from your late husband, the watchmaker, who died mysteriously in 1987. The same year Hawthorne wrote that note." Elena's voice stayed steady. "Hawthorne discovered you poisoned your husband for the insurance money. He kept silent for years because he loved you. But tonight he threatened to expose everything. So you silenced him too." Mrs. Mills' hands began to tremble violently. "You can't prove anything." "I already have." Elena pointed at the curtain. "The wire left tiny fibers on the book pages, and the timer still carries your fingerprints on the winding key. You wiped the gun clean, but you forgot the device." 2 uniformed officers stepped quietly into the room. As they cuffed her wrists, Mrs. Mills whispered bitterly, "He was going to ruin me." Elena looked at the dead man's peaceful face one last time. "No, Clara. You ruined yourself the moment you chose murder over truth." The rain continued to fall, as the library lights flickered once, and then went completely dark.